Press pause and answer the question.
If f of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 4, and g of x equals 2x minus 1, what is the value of f minus g of 4? So functions, again, they can be a little confusing in their notation just because the parentheses often suggest a multiplication. But I want you to think of it as just some kind of an operation, a machine that acts on a number. So with f, we say that f of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 4. But really what we're saying is we're going to put an input. We're going to input a number x. It's going to go through this machine f. And then we're going to take whatever was input and we're going to square it. And then we're going to add 3 times the original number, the input. And then we're going to subtract 4, and that's going to be our output. And that's maybe a little more complicated. We can look at g. G is a bit of a simpler function. So in g, we're putting x in and we're getting 2x minus 1 out. And what that means is we're taking an input, we're putting a number in the machine, we're going to double that number and subtract 1, and that result is going to be our output. So if we're taking f minus g of 4, we can take f, and f, you remember, is x squared plus 3x minus 4, and g is 2x minus 1, and we're going to take f and we're going to go ahead and subtract g. So then we have x squared plus 3x minus 4, and we'll take that negative sign and distribute it to everything in the parentheses. So we're going to subtract 2x from that, and we'll add 1. All right, now we'll combine like terms. We have x squared plus x minus 3. So we have this new machine called f minus g, and in f minus g, we're putting an input of x in, and what's coming out is x squared plus x minus 3. So we're putting a number in, we're going to square it in the machine, and we're going to add that number again to the square, and then we're going to subtract 3, and then we're going to get something that comes out. So in this case, we're taking 4. We're trying to take f minus g of 4, and we're going to go ahead and square it, and we'll add 4 to that number, and we'll subtract 3. 4 squared is 16, so we have 16 plus 4 minus 3. That's 20 minus 3, and that's 17. Now you may be confused if you see a problem like this because you say, okay, f minus g of 4, does that mean I have to take the f, like we just did, and subtract it from the g, which we just did, and then plug in 4 after we've done all that operation, which is what we just did to get 17? Or do I have to take f of 4, figure out what that is, and g of 4, and figure out what that is, and subtract g of 4 from f of 4? And you're in luck because it works either way. So if we were to take f of 4, we would see through our machine that we plug in a 4, and what comes out is 4 squared plus 3 times 4 minus 4. And if we plug in a 4 over here to g, we get 2x minus 1 becomes 8 minus 1. So now let's run those numbers out. That 4 squared becomes 16. That 3 times 4 becomes 12. So we'll add those two together, and then we'll subtract 4. And on our g side, well, 8 minus 1 is just 7. So then we say, okay, 16 plus 12 is 28. 28 minus 4. And on the other side, our g side, is 7 still. And 28 minus 4 is 24. So 24 and 7. And we're going to subtract them because we're looking to subtract f of 4 minus g of 4. So 24 minus 7 is still 17. You'll note that's the same answer we got when we did it the other way. So you really kind of can't mess this one up whether you combine the expression with the x's first and then come up with a new expression with x's and then plug in your number, or if you want to plug in your number first to f into g and then do whatever you have to do with the machines to take f minus g.